Greetings from a hidden location in the hidden hills of Hillcrest for this midnight broadcast and comment on SONA. SONA 2021, the state of the nation. And it has been an enlightening moment for me, a pivotal moment in my life, an epiphany, you might say. When I heard the address of the president, I immediately understood the concept of the multiverse. Yes, the multiverse. Multiple universes, all spinning in space in some strange kind of dance of eternity. And I understood immediately that there could be more than one universe of one reality. Because obviously the reality of the president is very different to the reality that I'm seeing around me. I mean, yeah, there were similarities in things. I mean, let's start with the Fane boss. Every 20 years, having to burn and be purged. I get the similarity of the people, but for God's sake, can't we make it 50 years or 100 years or something? I mean, to every 20 years. And then fire burns it to the ground. For in the spring rains, for it to rise and grow and nourish the earth again. Which I get it, but I mean, the Fane boss hasn't got assassins, fire assassins, pyros, maniacs running around starting little blazes when they get put out, are they? I mean, the fire goes out, it all burns to the ground, boom, finished. Yeah, we had the guys that were running around and supposedly helping the Fane boss to regrow that were starting the biggest fires. I mean, the fires of corruption, yeah. And then when it kicked in, but we'll get to that. But the Fane boss, yeah. As I say, I just don't see, I see the similarity, but it's a parallel universe, man. So then we get into the speech. And 4 points. 4 points, I agree with them. First, about COVID. We got to get COVID under control. We got to get the economy going. We got to fight poverty and jobs, create jobs. And we got to have fight corruption. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, in broad terms, yeah, I agree totally. But let's dig deeper. I mean, COVID. We need to eradicate the country of COVID. Okay, but in whose lifetime? I saw our kids. COVID is here for a while, man. And vaccinations, are they going to change that? They're going to prevent it? Yeah, maybe they do, I don't know. But I still question the story of ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. I don't know, but can someone please put that to bed? Could the state turn around and at least examine them and put out an official report and find out if we can cure it or if we have to vaccinate against this? With all the questions about the vaccination. One day, that other Zumika lacta is banned. It's like, yeah, it's going to save the world, and then the next day it's gone, and then now, no, but we won't lose the money. We will turn around and we'll use it somehow. My God, is it like washing detergent? If we can't use it here, we just go somewhere else and use it? Very strange. Or do we just create another disease? I don't know. The Seventh Wave by Walter Mitty. Yeah. Anyway, so the COVID question is not put to bed. And also the whole thing of the bold nation standing up to the fight as one. My God, we weren't as one. But anyway, let's get over that. We actually did, eh? It pulled us closer together than politicking. I mean, this is the end. We all got the common bad guy, the state that was ripping us off, or the guys, people of the state. So here we go. And we all standing as one. But on the other side of the fence were the politicians sharpening their knives and thinking people of power and money, and thinking how they can skin the common man and take it out from under us and hide behind death, a fear of death, to actually peddle it into our minds. Not enough investigation. What's it going to do? We're starting to mess with DNA and all kinds of fancy things. What is the implications of that on our entire body? We're sitting playing God when we're not even ready to fill his finger. You know what I mean? We know some stuff. Obviously, we have science has come light years, but there's still light years to go. So this whole COVID situation, I think I agree with it. It's got to be turned around and managed. But it's not going to go away. We've got to manage it, and the management of it would be closer to managing the economy and managing businesses and how we live with it, not how we prevent it and demonize it. That work out how? I don't know how. That's what these guys are supposed to be doing. But all of this rhetoric about, with dramatic words of the scourge, and fucking no shit. Huh? But as I say, let's turn around and work out who the bad guys. Can it be cured? Yes or no? Definitive answer. Does ivermectin work or doesn't it? Definitive answer from the experts who actually don't like it. So in other words, they will be out to prove it doesn't work. And if they cannot prove, then it's a pretty good sign that we don't have to vaccinate the planet. Eh? There's too many unanswered questions. What's all this about? But anyway, that's another topic. And then we go on to the job creation. And all of these big plans to small business development and propping up and starting business and making it attractive for investment. But isn't the biggest problem that we are not filtering money down to the bottom tiers? We're not, the generals are getting stinking rich and widening the divide. He dedicated one sentence to the divide between the rich and the poor. The rich are getting stinking rich. The middle class are becoming slave labor, and the bottom tier are dying. They can't survive. Now, surely we should be looking, instead of starting new businesses which cost money and cost investment, work out how businesses could be restructured and salary structures rationalized so that the money filters down to the bottom tiers, which gives them buying power, which again will uplift the economy. To me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's not as simple as that, and I'm not an economist. But for God's sake, all of this starting big businesses where the money gets sucked up into the top tiers of these people that are supposed to be creating jobs, and they are creating jobs at slave labor rates and cutting the people down, and they're getting the incentives are more than the average person at the bottom ends in earning in a year, the CEO incentives. That's wrong. So you guys with money and the politicians get together and work out how to rationalize society, not just make profits. The profit is the wealth of our society, not only the money. So what was the fourth one? The third one, job creation. Again, the job creation, let's pay people at the bottom more money. Let's get those people surviving in job creation within existing structures. We don't have to spend money on setting up new companies and setting up new smart cities and all kinds of nonsense, and borrowing and getting our kids further and further into debt. Job creation, of course jobs should be created, but there are businesses that are lying stagnant. So instead of starting new cities and stuff, pump the money to existing businesses, pick them up, give them the ability to manufacture with the market and to give them hiring capacity so they can actually employ people. All of these high-flying ideas are great for Cyril, with respect, and his cronies that operate at that level. But the average John citizen, quite honestly, and even from a BEE perspective, they don't want to start their own business. They want a job, and they want to be able to support their families. The middle class, with going in with that BEE has, it's got millions of middle management up to senior management. We are getting top heavy with the management and not enough. There's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Take the money and work out how we can redistribute wealth, and that is key to any country. Singapore has just is a success story of note, and they operate on three principles: meritocracy, MPH, meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty. Meritocracy, have the right person for the right job, not who he's related to, who he knows, but who's the right person. Pragmatism, the right process. It doesn't matter if it's communism, capitalism, libertarianism, the right set of actions to generate the outcome desired is the right practice, and that's pragmatic. And thirdly, honesty. Honesty underpins nothing in this country. We need to go back and underpin the state and the way we operate and live our lives based on transparency and honesty and a will and a joy in being honest, knowing it is in the interests of our kids, our families, and our country. Okay, so then the last one was corruption. My God. Here we had, I thought, when the whole thing started, let me have another light. Okay, so when the corona chaos started, what happened, man? All of a sudden, Cyril came on, the president came on, and the whole country was galvanized together. We all were standing like as though we were on the brink of war, ready to face the foe. And then the cigarette story and the alcohol story and knowing, and then the stolen, the masks, the corruption within the procurement of all the logistics around corona, and the dirty stories, and still corruption, and still stealing, and still, I mean, for God's sake, that is the story of this country. We're saying, oh, we must stand together, we must donate, and we must learn to live without the money and think, tighten our belts. My God. Politicians just tighten it one notch. That's all. Their stealing is unexcusable. That a country is in turmoil like our country, and they can, with a straight face, steal the country dry, and the people dry, the future of the people dry. And that only makes point 4 on the agenda. I mean, for God's sake, Mr. President, I think you're a man that has got the principles at heart, but for God's sake, stand up for them. This is nonsense. These things, this corruption is out of hand and needs to stop, and it needs to stop with a strong hand. It cannot turn around and only stop people that are willing to actually listen, and they'll play nicely. You need to play with the big bulls as well, and I think that's an important one. Then what goes on? What else do we talk about? So then the president goes on and he goes into the details about all of the above 4, the aforementioned above, and talks about coming here and building plants to make automated cars. My God, people are unemployed, and now we're making another factory and paying a fortune for this thing. Just stick around, let the guys fix the roads, fix potholes, get the things sorted out, get people employed. These high-flying Dubai kind of projects are wonderful, but not now, not for when we're insane debt. Let's consolidate and let's get out of this thing. I mean, you talk about job creation, but all the job creation initiatives are to set up middle and senior management. It's not to set up the bottom tier. Public work programs don't work. I don't know what the solution is, but there has to me, the solution is pay a higher salary to laborers, people on the professional floor. I don't know how, but people, it's not fair that the directors and CEOs are earning the obscene salaries they are, and the people on the bottom tier cannot even make ends meet, which is taxing the country. It's not only is it messing up the economy of the country, it's messing up the morale. It's putting dog at dog. We're all at each other's throats. We're trying to work out who to blame, and then we go into gender-based violence and femicide. Femicide? A word, femicide? My God, who comes up with this cuck? That's like a genocide for women, right? So that is insinuating that men are running around killing women, mass murder. That is not. You're saying, oh, you want to save women and kids. Shouldn't you be saying, let's save the family unit? Isn't that what it's about? About having happy, successful families that can bring up balanced and optimistic kids, not demonizing fathers. That is so short-sighted, man. 1 out of 3 domestic violence cases are women on men. I'm not saying that men aren't wrong. Of course they are. Let's get it together. But this fight should be uniting the country, uniting men and women in protection of their families, not alienating the one party for populist opinion. That's wrong. This whole gender-based violence thing is completely wrong. It's like BEE. BEE is setting up a situation that if a black person and a white person goes for the job, and the black person gets the job, the white goes, yeah, BEE. And the black person gets hostile because he thinks that the white person is doing it, which he probably is. So in other words, it's creating a feeling of inferiority in the black person. It's not good for the black person. We've gone 26 years. They are clever, and you fucking know that, man. They are clever black people. They don't need a head start. That is diminishing their own sense of self-esteem, and this country needs pride. It needs a sense of unity, not divided by man constructs. It needs unity by heart and by will and by outlook and by vision and by where we want to go. And we're not doing this. We spend our lives dividing and then resting our heads on laurels that don't exist. All of these success stories of you. Tell the people the shit, man. Tell them what's not happening. Tell them what we need to work at, and so that we understand why we should suffer. And we stand behind you, not see that we believe that the politicians and the social elite are living in a fairyland which is like a completely different universe, and while we, the rest of society, my people, the white people, and more so the black and the poverty-stricken and unemployed and the hopeless and the desperate, that they can stand behind you and know that you empathize with their terms and you see the reality of the situation, and you will share your honesty so we can trust you in working out how we get out of this shit we're in. Thank you, Mr. President. It was great to speak to you, but I think you're better than you're talking. Get someone else to write your speeches, bro.